Coming up on your News at 5, the court case in Maryland, a man who was mistakenly deported has the Trump administration doubling down, defying a court order. We have what comes next. And the White House is looking to clarify its tariff policy involved exemptions for technology. We have what they're saying. Then family and friends of a Texas man lost at sea are raising funds. We have the latest in the search.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Welcome to your News at 5. I'm Adelmi Ruiz. We are hearing news of a Friday homicide in the interior. According to the Fairbanks Police Department, they received a report of shots fired at an apartment in the 1100 block of 27th Avenue. Upon responding, officers located 37-year-old Joseph Casas with a gunshot wound to the head. He was transported to the Fairbanks Memorial Hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Next of kin have been notified. Based on previous contacts at the residence, FPD began searching for 24-year-old Adeus Robertson, an active duty soldier stationed at Fort Wainwright. Robertson was then located a short time later by officers at the Big Dipper Ice Arena. He was found to be in possession of a handgun magazine, and the firearm was recovered later from a dumpster near the scene of the alleged homicide. Robertson was arrested and arraigned with the following charges: murder in the first degree and tampering with physical evidence. Bail was set at $2.5 million. The Trump administration is doubling down on its decision to not tell a federal court whether it has any plans to repatriate a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador on March 15th despite a court order and remains confined in a notorious prison in El Salvador. This is despite a Supreme Court ruling that the man should be returned to the United States. During a hearing Friday, Abrego Garcia's attorney said the Justice Department is stonewalling.
The government refused to provide any of those pieces of information that the judge ordered them to provide. Not only the information about what future steps they're planning to take, they even refused to answer the question about what they've done so far, and they even refused to answer the question about where Kilmar Abrego Garcia is today.
The U.S. District Court judge handling the case is now weighing whether to grant a request from the man's legal team to compel the government why it should not be held in contempt. The president said he respects the Supreme Court and will bring the man back.
But if the Supreme Court said bring somebody back, I would do that. I respect the Supreme Court.
And the lower court judge as well. He's been asking for daily updates.
I'm not talking about the lower court. I have great respect for the Supreme Court. So I'm not totally well versed as to the specific case, but if they said to bring him back, I would tell them to bring him back.
Any move toward a contempt finding would represent an extraordinary turn in the President Trump administration's assertion of presidential authority. And President Trump is clarifying the status of U.S. tariffs on electronic devices like smartphones imported from China. He wrote on social media Sunday that nobody is getting off the hook for unfair trade balances and trade barriers, especially China, which the president says treats the United States the worst. The president said there was no tariff exception announced on Friday. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick also tried to clear up any confusion caused last week when Customs and Border Protection issued a rule sparing some high-tech items from the president's reciprocal tariffs. Lutnick said smartphones, computers, and some other electronics will come under separate tariffs, along with semiconductors that may be imposed in a month or so. Now, switching gears, let's head over to the Weather Center with our meteorologist for a look at the state forecast.
Hey, well, thanks, Adelmi. Let's go ahead and look and see what we have outside. It's been rather cloudy in the south central area, but through the state, we are seeing some sunshine, especially in Kotzebue, Nome. Cloudy in much locations, all a result of a low pressure system. I'll show you a little bit later. And we see a little bit of rain down in much of the southeast panhandle. Klawock came in with 51 today as the high. And also we saw that in Sleet Mute. So as we take a look at current conditions, some cloudiness up in Fairbanks, 48 degrees, 47. As we look at Nenana and over in Tanana, 43. And a little bit of sunshine in Eagle, 47 today. For Fairbanks, 49 the high, the low 40. I should say the high 49, the low 27, normally 44 and 20, so just about normal, a little warmer than normal, but fairly nice. And for South Central, some sunshine still prevails up in the north part of South Central, but along the coastal sections, we are seeing cloudy skies with some scattered showers that will continue overnight. Matter of fact, we're going to see some strong winds too, and that brings us to the forecast. This is for South Central, Anchorage 44 the high, 34 the low, 44 is normally the high, so indeed we're just spot on for that. And taking a look at tonight, we are going to see some rain and snow showers in the South Central area. We'll also see some very gusty winds along the coastal sections of the South, all the way up into Palmer, where we'll see winds southeast gusting to 45 to 60 miles an hour, depending on where you're at. Most of this energy is coming from the low pressure system. It's going to move through, and as it does, look for, at least for Anchorage, Eagle River, up in the valley, those winds to really take an impact right around midnight to 1 o'clock, and then should die down. That's a quick look at the forecast for at least South Central. I'll have the whole forecast coming up in a bit.
Thank you so much, Robert. We look forward to seeing you again. And family and relatives of the Texas family lost at sea near Homer last year are raising funds to continue search efforts. The family were aboard a fishing vessel that capsized in August of last year, and search efforts were unable to recover the 4 people, David, Mary, Colton, and Brantley Maynard. Now efforts are underway to start another search with the help of a Texas-based canine search organization. On Saturday, a barbecue benefit was held in Temple, Texas, to raise funds for the search efforts.
For them not to be here anymore, it's devastating for anybody, you know. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt for a while, you know, but we're here to let him know we're here to support him.
When they went missing, it was tragic, and it touched them personally.
We just want our loved ones brought home and laid to rest.
The nonprofit organizing the efforts have underwater equipment, but say conducting a search in Alaska will be new territory for them. They say they're aiming to begin at the end of this summer. Still to come on the news at 5, the Anchorage Library held a CD sale. We'll tell you why. And the Mat-Su Outdoorsman Show was held this weekend. We'll take you there right after the break.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
In Anchorage this weekend, we took a tour of the dungeon within the Loussac Library. That's what volunteers call it, at least. Maintained by the Friends of the Library organization, the back room of the Loussac is full of books, CDs, DVDs, and audiobooks. For a suggested donation of $10, you can load up your arms or tote bags with CDs, audiobooks, or vinyl records. Sunday's pop-up sale was solely for CDs and audiobooks, but it gave a preview to the massive collection the Friends of the Library will have up for grabs the first weekend of May for their annual book sale. Denise Yancey, Vice President of the Board of Friends of the Library, tells us all of the books are donations, and after 3 chances to find a new home at the pop-up sale, they will have to throw away the items, even if there's nothing wrong with them.
Well, the suggested donation is $10, but if you only want to pay $1, nobody's going to blink an eye. It's all going for the library, so you do what you think is right. But I've seen people walk out with like a wagon load, and they give us $5 to $10, and that's fine.
This weekend's pop-up sale wrapped up at 5 this evening, but will be followed shortly with the library's book sale. Yancey tells us members of Friends of the Library get early access before the public the Friday before the sale. And summer is still months away, but don't tell that to these Alaskans. This was the scene this afternoon in the Mat-Su, as thousands of Alaskans took part in the Mat-Su Outdoorsman Show. The 3-day event featured nearly 200 vendors, many promoting fishing and hunting adventures. The gathering also featured dozens of passionate business owners who share in the love of the outdoors.
Well, they're small businesses, but they're doing what they love to do. If they're fishing businesses, they love to get out and go fishing. If they are selling ATVs, that's what they love to do. They love to sell their ATVs. They love to ride their ATVs. And here they're connecting with customers that like to do what they're offering, and it's just bringing everybody together.
While the event ended Sunday, you can find a link to the participating businesses on our website at alaskasnewssource.com. And when we come back, the deadliest attack in the...
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's News Source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.